I'm Chad from First Dunes, and I want to show you an example of why we love Viewrail. This is a staircase that was built by a local artisan iron worker, and we're very happy with this work, and it's a beautiful stair. But at the time, this was the fabricator that we've used for many of these monotube stringers before we knew of Viewrail, and who does a beautiful job. But I want to point out some of the differences and some of the things we've come to not like as much about this product now that we've become a customer of Viewrail. One of the biggest pieces that really sets it off is when you look at these treads, and you can see that these are made of, built up out of 1x white oak, and then they are planking, 3/4 planking set on top of hardwood boxes. So these are built up treads also, but they're built up the other way from the way Viewrail does. One of the things that we actually do in all of our houses out here on Dune Road is we always use vertical grain wood for the flooring because it's more dimensionally stable in moisture situations. And so this is not that, this is plain sawn wood. And so we have had problems with these where we're getting cupping just from high humidity conditions from being by the shore. Also you can see, I don't know if the cameras pick it up, but just as a result of how this process works with mitering and picture framing, you're gonna have wood filler inserted, and if you're not putting stain on these, which we don't really usually stain them, it really doesn't get hidden well, it shows up kind of pink. But again, the biggest thing that's the difference that Viewrail shows off is the beautiful radiused edges, and that it's a vertical grain glued up of 2x, white oak, and it has so much more of a substantial feel. And then, where Viewrail really blows the competition away is that, as you can see here, or if you look up, I think it's easier to see, you can see that the tread sits on a steel seat, and it's sitting on it. It's not sitting recessed into it. So there's no routing being done here really at all, where the tread is not recessed into the bracket. And I mean, it looks beautiful, and it was really well done, and the workmanship in the shop here was very good. I mean, you can see over here, my guys have dripped some finish on this, I guess, and we haven't cleaned it off. But generally speaking, this is really done as nicely as it can be done, and it's just limited by the technical nature of the way it's put together. If you come upstairs with me and look, it really comes out more so on the platforms where, you can see it over here. Here's a huge expansion that's happened, and you have a little bit of wood putty coming through it. And I'm not saying that a Viewrail won't have a seam like that where two platforms come together, but it does fit up much nicer with a Viewrail setup. And then when we're looking up from here, this is really where it's a big deal when we have these multi-story platforms, and this is a huge steel pan. And you're not looking at white oak and wood from underneath you. You're looking at black steel or white painted steel, but whatever it may be, it's just a lot of steel. It's very bulky. And then I guess the other biggest benefit to Viewrail is that this system took about 6 weeks or so to be installed, start to finish inside of the project. That's like with the steel work, and then them coming back later for the woodwork, and then coming back later for the railings. And that's as opposed to the Viewrail process where a delivery comes and it's treads, it's stairs, it's rails, and everything generally fits. Do some things go back? Do we get a little rework? Do we get some parts? Sure. But 95%, 98% of what we got gets installed and can get done pretty much right away in sequence in a week or two. And usually when we're done and pretty much finished painted, so that we're not making a mess with welding and all of that in here. And the last thing I'll point out is, like I was saying, that this was an integration to steel structure here. So we don't have wood in this wall, and the steel is actually down here, and the platform had to be up there for head height reasons. So there's a good amount of steel welding that had to happen over here. We've now developed some details with Viewrail where we can do that together with the Viewrail system. With this system, it did require detailing by the fabricator, and then confirmation from us. And that detailing and confirmation process took almost 5 to 6 weeks before the stairs could be released for fabrication. Whereas with Viewrail and their measurement system and their drawing generation system, we're usually doing that within a week. And generally speaking, we can do what if scenarios with Viewrail on, well, if we move this tread or remove that tread, and we can get an answer while we're on the phone at that moment from their engineers. Whereas what ifing a system like this that was drawn with pencil and paper and then put into AutoCAD and then sent out, we're talking about days for what ifs, not seconds. And that's a huge difference for us when we're building large houses in 6 to 8 months. Us being able to get answers in a minute versus a week is a huge deal.